Yes, I'm leaving her picture on the screen to start off this video to make my point. Alright? I am sorry, but this has to be done. This has to be done for you all. Because I am so sick and tired of this woman's antics. Now, if you don't know who she is, this is somebody who I've talked about on this channel in the past year. And that is Trottenberg, the commissioner of the New York City Department of Transportation. And yes, I have to do that voice just to elaborate what this woman has done. You all have witnessed it on this channel with that stupid Woodhaven Boulevard bus lane, with the bike lanes that are unnecessary, with the traffic getting worse on 73rd Avenue and in Fresh Meadows. And not to mention how she actually caused someone to die. She actually did. The truth must be revealed. And not to mention unnecessary construction. Unnecessary construction. How we always get left out here in Queens. We are the ones facing the burden. So, here's how we're going to organize this video. We're going to talk about the fireman who passed away on the Belt Parkway last night in Mill Basin. We're going to read an article from Channel 7 about how most likely Polly Trottenberg, because of what she did on the Mill Basin drawbridge, must resign from her position. I called for her resignation right after the November snowstorm. That's when I blamed her for not communicating with the Department of Sanitation. But this has gone far too enough. Way enough. So let's go to the articles I pulled up online. Alright, so now we're going to read this article about an awful tragedy that happened last night, shortly after 11 o'clock, and why this has to do everything with our Department of Transportation Commissioner. So we will now read the article. This is from New York One. An FDNY firefighter is dead after falling nearly 60 feet off the Mill Basin Bridge in Brooklyn this past Sunday night, January 6th. Fire officials said Stephen Pollard, 30, of Ladder Company 170, responding to a two-car accident with injuries around 10 p.m. on the bridge along the Belt Parkway. New York One was told that he slipped through a gap in the bridge and fell 52 feet into a construction site below, and he crossed from the eastbound to the westbound lanes. And of course, I was actually watching Channel 7 news last night, and Sandra Bookman, terrific reporting today. I gotta give her credit. She was the one who was on the air last night with Joe Torres, reporting this news as soon as it broke, and there was numerous videos about this in the Citizen app, but as you can see here, this is Mr. Stephen Pollard, a victim of Polly Trottenberg's misneglect, and we'll get to that in just a second. Pollard was with the department less than 2 years and comes from a long line of firefighters. Earlier in the day, dozens of firefighters lined the street outside the medical examiner's office in Manhattan, where Pollard's body was removed and taken to a funeral home in Marine Park, Brooklyn. Firefighters put up purple bunting at Ladder Company 170 in Brooklyn, where Pollard worked. I'm not going to read what de Blasio said, because, believe me, I don't need to make it about him. I really don't. Full investigations on the way, and I'm going to bring up my point about Jim Hoffa from Channel 7 in just a second. We're not going to watch the video because, believe it or not, Jim Hoffa actually wrote an article. Now, if you don't know who he is one of the investigative reporters for Channel 7. So, now we'll read it. Firefighter Stephen Pollard didn't see the gap as he hopped from one side to the other while responding to a car accident. The bridge replaced an old bridge in Mill Basin that often got stuck and created gridlock. The new one cost New York City $236 million, and it's only been open a little more than a year, but it's now at the center of a tragedy that may have been preventable. Now, I'll talk about my experience with the Mill Basin Bridge later on with you all, because I was actually on it last Sunday, December 30th, going to a family event in Staten Island. So anyhow, Hard to tell, but the new Mill Basin Bridge is actually 2 bridges, each 3 lanes going in the opposite direction. That's not what I saw. I saw 2 eastbound lanes at the Flatbush Avenue when I was traveling westbound. And my dad can vouch for me on that. He saw it too. Okay, Mr. Paulwood may have had no idea where he was crossing between 2 bridges separated by a gap partially hidden by vehicle barriers and the night. He fell 5 stories to his death. So I don't really need to read what Nigro said. And of course, I'll try to see if I can pull up a little bit of the video. What we'll do is we'll mute it. We'll play it here for just a second. So I want to show you something about this bridge. I can show you a couple images. Just a second. So, I quickly want to mention before I can get the video loaded. The first exit in Brooklyn is Erskine Street. Now I know the belt very well because remember, I have family friends who live in Mill Basin, and I actually have another family friend who lives close to Ocean Parkway in Brooklyn. So obviously, as you can see here, here's Erskine Street. This cuts up to the Gateway Center. Here's Pennsylvania Avenue, which is exit 13. So this is the first part of the bridge, as you can see here. And this is Canarsie Park. And right here is the Mill Basin Drawbridge. So right now, I'm going to try to pull up some images of this bridge in just a second here. So again, we do have the video on mute because, again, copyright reasons. So we're trying to see if we can pull up something here in just a second. Yeah, I'm trying to pull you up an image. Yeah, here we go. So this is an aerial view from News Chopper 7. So Shannon Stone flew over this today. She's the veteran chopper reporter for Channel 7. So she was up in the air today taking these shots. And as you see here, this looks poorly constructed. I remember seeing this the other day, and I was saying to myself, you know, it's bad enough you have all this traffic clogged up because a vehicle overturned on the belt when I was there last week. So let me pause this for a sec. Try to go here. Do apologize, everyone. The video's not going to cooperate. We'll just go right to Google. There we go. Here's another view of the Mill Basin Drawbridge. As you see here, this is where he fell off. This is where he fell off. And once again, I'm going to mention this. Polly Trottenberg is liable for this. Liable for this. Because of this, a firefighter lost his own life trying to do his job, trying to help other people in a car accident. Unbelievable. DOT is closely working with this. Here it is right here. This is more blatant proof. I'm going to say this again. Polly Trottenberg, you need to resign now. You should have resigned after the November snowstorm. It's been 2 months. Why are you still working for New York City? You need to resign now. This woman literally caused someone to die. She is responsible. Let's try to get a view of this bridge for just a second here. Yes, here it is. Here it is. So this was a recent shot taken back in August of 2018. It's now January of 2019. Look how poorly constructed this is. Look how poorly constructed this is. Look what they did. They purposely put this lane right here, and then they have 2 separate lanes of traffic going over here. And then take a look at this. That's not 3 lanes. That's 2 lanes. That's 2 lanes going to Flatbush Avenue. I mean, what is this? I mean, again, this was taken back in August. This was taken way back in August. This is, again, the point of no return between Pennsylvania and Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn. I know, I'm sorry for ranting, but what this woman has done is literal hell. Alright, literal hell. So, what we're going to do right now to wrap up this video is show you what happened today on Francis Lewis Boulevard in Auburndale. I was walking from the shopping center on 35th Avenue, and I was walking back to my dad's car by Osnum, and what I saw today was another blatant example of what Polly Trottenberg has done to Queens. Well, folks, we have an epic fail this afternoon here on Francis Lewis Boulevard by 39th Avenue. It seems when you're as high priority as Polly Trottenberg, you can close Francis Lewis Boulevard an hour before the main traffic comes. And here's a big problem. They're now going to have to delay Q76 bus service because of this. And hopefully they have a way for everybody to walk around. Because they close the sidewalk off, then you got a problem. Then you got a big issue. Oh, take a look at this, folks. They decided to build up a whole crater. A whole crater. Look how deep that is. And here's a construction truck. We need to get going because this is just going to get worse. There's about, I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 workers here. At least 7 from what I'm counting. I can't even get to the contractor, folks. No, it doesn't matter now. I mean, they're doing their work. But still, another way for our wonderful DOT commissioner, I'm calling her out again, Polly Trottenberg, for screwing traffic once again before rush hour. It's literally after 3 o'clock, and she's like, oh, too bad. I'm going to mess up the traffic on Francis Lewis Boulevard. And then here's another problem. We're right by the Auburndale station. People park around here. So you're going to screw them when they look so hard for a parking spot. They're going to come home from the city, and they're going to get screwed. And I just have to give you another update. Northern Boulevard in Elmhurst is still closed. So once again, just want to show you that Trottenberg loves to mess with us. We're the new Staten Island, folks. Get used to it, because 2019 is already looking bad for our borough. Thank you all for watching.